Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo and I'm a wheel addict. This is Skate Talks number 22. And before I call my guest today, I would like you to know that I started a Patreon about a few months ago, and that's it. I don't know what else to say about Patreon. Basically, if you want to support what I do, you can just go to that page and, well, if you like what I do, you can go to my Patreon and just see what that is all about. Now, let's just go ahead and let me tell you who my guest is today. So, a few months ago, Racers presented their newest pro. He's been skating for 17 years. He is right now 30 years old. He's bold and he is not Derek Anderson. And he comes from Baltimore, Maryland. But 2 days ago, he was skating with other skates. And I was like, we need to talk. So that's it. That's how I got Stefan Brandow as my guest today. So let's give Stefan a call and see what's happening with this guy. I still don't know how to promote my Patreon.
Ricardo.
Yo, what's up, Stefan? How you doing?
How you doing, brother? I'm doing good.
Aha. So I was just like trying to make a little intro for these, and at the same time I was trying to introduce my Patreon page, but I don't know how to do it, man. I was just like, I got lost. And then I got lost at our intro, and I think you're going to need to tell everyone listening to this your story. So we start from the beginning.
Oh man, I've been all over the place. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm kind of here and there and everywhere. So
okay, we can start with this. You want to start with the skating, or you can go a little bit before?
Yeah, sure.
How did skating go?
Me growing up where I grew up is kind of a. You know what the funny part is? I used to go to the skate park, and this is like my earliest memory. I would go with skates, a bike, and a skateboard.
Yeah.
And I would just always end up on the skates more. And I think we got to a point where my parents were kind of just like, let's get you like an actual pair of skates. And I remember they were like Salomon like teen models.
No way,
Salomon? Super little, yeah. Like, yeah, oh yeah.
That's amazing.
I know, funny after that video that you posted and like me being like all about it. But yeah, that was like the first thing. And then like my earliest memory was having those Salomons. We went to a local sports store because this is when X Games were still on TV and like. Yeah.
That's basically when Salomon got into the game too.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So yeah, it said reconnecting, but yeah. So I remember just like getting them at a sports store, going home, and then my dad, he's like a mechanic, and he's really good with just kind of, woodworking and like building things. And I just remember going home and him building me a little tiny ramp and a little tiny rail out of like housing pipe.
Awesome.
And that was just like my first memory. And we have like these photos of me in my driveway doing that. And I think I had like 2 pair of those. And then
what Salomons were those?
Skating for a while.
What Salomons were those?
They were like I just remember them being black, and I think they were like a T model or like one of the ST models. I don't remember specifically.
Was it an aggressive skate?
Like, an aggressive skate, right? Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I got they were like the soft top gray ones. I think they were like the STIs.
The STIs, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I got those, and then I remember after that I got a pair of Rems, and then kind of all over the place with skates for a while after that. But I grew up in a tiny little town, so the only thing that I had to skate was whatever we built in my driveway, or I had to drive like an hour and 15 minutes up to Rochester. And Rochester, New York was the closest city to me. So that's kind of like where I grew up skating and where.
And with who did you used to skate in Rochester? And in your hometown too? So did you have any other one?
That would have been like Chris Troyer, AJ Powell. It's funny because they're the same age as us, but like Mike Torres and Tim Adams and Dan Barnes were like the quote unquote older guys because they had been skating for a while and they were better. But like that was like, the guys that we looked up to growing up. But yeah, I had like a crew of, younger guys that we were the same age, and we'd go and stay at each other's houses for the weekend and roll around the city. And my dad would either drive us or drop us off. And It was a really good place to start skating.
I guess
So we had a great
that was
skate
like
park,
a
and there was
worldwide
tons
thing.
of crews. Yeah, it was great. It was perfect.
That's awesome. And then you moved from there, or like what?
I got into college in Pittsburgh. Growing up, we were like maybe 4-ish hours from Philadelphia. So when Chris Majette opened Neglected Truth, my dad would drive me out for all of the events that they would have, because they used to have those box jams. So that was like the closest thing to us that was kind of like a real skate shop. So my dad would drive me out there, and like we would stay with Chris Majette and like Judd Larson and Ethan Reese. They all lived together. So I would like, go around Philly seeing these guys like right after Opinions came out, and just like be in awe of like, how amazing they were, and just kind of sit and watch as a young kid, because I couldn't do any of that yet. So I wanted to go to school for graphic design. And I knew that the Art Institute of Philadelphia was there, and then the other closest one to me was the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. So my senior year, for the very beginning of my senior year in high school, my parents and I went to Pittsburgh, and the minute we pulled into the city, it was kind of one of those like meant to be things. I knew that was exactly.
This podcast is sponsored by Anchor. If you didn't know what Anchor is the platform that I use to upload my podcasts. Basically, I just upload my podcasts here, and then they make the distribution for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so on. It is free, and they still allow me to monetize this podcast even without having a minimum amount of listeners, which is quite cool. They make the connections with the sponsors, with them being one of the sponsors. It's a way to make a little bit of extra cash. I can upload them from my phone, from my computer, even without having this fancy gear that I'm actually using right now. So Anchor is quite cool because it's a one place for you to do everything related to podcasts. So if you want to search, or if you want to get into Anchor, make sure to go on anchor.fm, or you can use the free Anchor app.
Where I had to be, because it's such a rad looking city. So I moved there actually 3 days after my high school graduation.
And when did James Short get into your life?
Probably, I want to say maybe around like 15 or 16, because I remember my dad drove me out to Vertigo. They had like a session or something. It wasn't like a contest. It was just some kind of like session or event. And I knew who he was because of Daily Bread, and I was like a big fan of his skating, kind of like the Norca videos, which are like the Akron, Ohio crew. And I had seen him, and I loved his style and creativity, because like raw, I was into like, punk and hardcore growing up. And he was one of the dudes that was like, kind of dressed like a punk guy, and like tight pants and black shirts and all that. And there wasn't a lot of that going on in like, 2003, 2004. So I kind of gravitated towards that. And then he was there, and talked to him a little bit. I don't think, he kind of put two and two together that, who I was or anything, because I was so young at the time. And then he stopped skating for a while. And then when I was living in Pittsburgh, he asked me if I wanted to start coming out to him, because where he lived in Ohio was about 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So it might have been, I want to say maybe my third year in Pittsburgh that I was living there. We just started skating together, and we clicked. We had the same kind of, personality, and just like skating the same things, and just vibed off of each other. So either every other weekend he would be in Pittsburgh, or I would be at his house in Ohio.
That's sick. That's when I remember start seeing anything from you, at least from my side.
I think that's when we really started filming. I actually bought a GL2 from Adam Johnson around that time. He like sold it on BMag, and we needed a camera, because I had originally started filming with Hawk Trackler. Hawk Trackler is who I lived with in Pittsburgh. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Hawk had a really bad brain tumor, and he had to go back home to Columbus. So when he left Pittsburgh, we didn't have anybody to film. So I was looking into a camera, so that way James and I could film, and I could film everybody in Pittsburgh. And Adam Johnson posted a GL2 on BMag, and I'm pretty sure it was the one that filmed KFC 3.
That was my first good camera too, but in Europe it was called the XM2 instead of GL.
I think everybody had that camera. Like
it was
like
either that or the
camera,
Sony.
Like,
some people had the Sony, some other people had the Canon one. So I guess that was it, huh?
Yeah, it was a good time. So did that, and then he and I filmed Jolly Jolly Heartbreakers. That was like our crew. So kind of traveled around the South and East Coast filming for that with all of our friends for a while. And I think it might have been right after that that I started working at Mr. Small's skate park.
Wait, I don't know what like Mr. Small skate park is. What was that?
So that was a skate park in Pittsburgh. It was an outdoor park. You still had to like pay to get in. Because Mr. Small's is like the big music venue in Pittsburgh, but they also own a recording studio in the skate park. The guy who owns it was the one who made skateboarding get into Woodward East, because Woodward East was originally just a gymnastics camp. I believe his name was Mike. I can't remember his last name, but he was a cool guy. But at that time, Chris Edwards was running Mr. Small's.
Okay.
So obviously they had a rollerblade night. So we would go on Thursdays and, you know, do the typical skate until the lights turned off with everybody. And Chris was always there. And I needed a job after graduating college. So I ended up working there before I got my first design job. And at that time I was skating Rems. And I just remember Chris came up to me and he was like, you know, you're really good with kids. Are you going to keep being nice to kids? And to me, it was just the weirdest question. I'm like, well, why would I ever start being rude to little kids that are like rollerblading with us? You know, it's like the weirdest question you could just ask out of the blue. And he's like, all right. He's like, keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, okay. And he picks up the phone and I just hear, Kato, what's up? So all of us were kind of like, what is going on right now? He's like, well, hey, I got a guy here in Pittsburgh that you should look into. And that's kind of how like everything started for me, because, you know, doing stuff with James, kind of did Jolly Jolly, and that was our first video. And then, you know, Chris Edwards of all people, you know, calling Kato and being like, hey, I think you should look into this guy. You know, that was just the coolest thing as like a kid, you know, who knew the history of skating, for that to happen to. So I got really lucky growing up being around the people that I was around.
Man, we're going to go there later, but it's not lucky. Let's not even go there yet. Let's wait a little bit. It's not called luck, man. You could have been there, but if you would have never busted your ass skating, and if you would have never followed your passion, nothing of that would have happened. So we'll get there later. That's very true. We'll get there later. But tell me, okay, and then after that skate park, and then for how long you skated in that skate park?
So that
how long did you work in that park?
Maybe I was only there for like maybe 2 or 3 months, and then I immediately got a design job. So I worked at that design job for maybe a year and a half-ish, and then ended up wanting to leave. It wasn't for me. It was a lot of like doing stuff, like doing t-shirts for like school plays and like fire departments and police academies. It just wasn't really my thing. And like I would get breaks at work, like 15-minute breaks, and on those breaks I would go and design stuff for Havoc. I don't know if you remember Havoc clothing.
Yes, of course I remember.
So I would like sneak little designs for Havoc in the meantime. Like that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of like, you know, I was living in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, so I couldn't really see all my friends that I skated with. Wasn't really happy where I lived. Wasn't really happy at the job. And then decided I wanted to go home for a little bit, just to, you know, I was kind of missing home, kind of like missing my, you know, friends that I grew up skating with. So I went home for a little bit, and the girl that I was dating at the time ended up moving back to North Carolina. So I ended up going to North Carolina for 2 years. So I was in Charlotte for a little bit, and then I was in Raleigh for a year.
That's sick. Did you skate with Will Gordon?
This is like...
Did you skate with Will? Did you skate with Will Gordon while you were there? Wasn't Will Gordon from North Carolina?
Yeah, Will Gordon was from, I think he was from Greensboro.
Yeah.
But he had stopped skating at that time. I moved in like 2010. It's like 2010 to like end of 2011, 2012 is when I was there. But the first 6 months I was there, I was in Charlotte, and I got to skate with Montre and Phil Gripper and Casey Wilson a lot. And then when I moved to Raleigh, Long had been working to start Oak City. So right when he opened Oak City is when I left North Carolina. Of course, bad timing. But it was cool getting to see him kind of like work. He worked so hard to get that shop going, and he still works so hard today. But it was cool kind of like getting to see the start, and like there would be times when we would like be out skating. He's like, well, no, I'm like working my second job so I can make some more money, because he was just trying to save to buy a building for the shop. And it was so rad seeing that. But that was like when I really started skating a lot. I was skating pretty much every single day. just like the good weather and the people that were there. And it was just, that's kind of when it like clicked for me that I wanted to like skate all the time.
And were you skating Rams back then, or when did you do the?
Right before I moved to North Carolina is when I stopped skating Rems. I started having some knee problems, and it just they obviously the way Rems are made, I physically couldn't skate them without being in pain, and I felt bad because Kato was
which Rems
so
were those?
Awesome. I think the Happies that had the big V cut with the lacing were the last ones that I had.
Okay.
So I had like started with the Frankie OS Rems, and pretty much all the models between those I skated. So
I remember that the open shell ones
skating Rems.
I remember that the open shells used to make your foot go a little bit more like a royale, like bending outside, like in a sole position. But the other ones I never had that problem.
I loved them.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah, I loved the big ones too, like the bigger boot. At the time they were perfect for how I was skating, and I loved them at the time. It just got to a point where my body couldn't handle it, and kind of skated some like random things, skated Solomons again, skated some rollerblades. And at one point I think it was the last year of me living in North Carolina, we went to Bitter Cold, and I actually forgot my skates. And we stopped in Columbus on the way, and I'm, super close to everybody in Columbus because of Hawk Trackler. My friend Kyle Wood gave me a pair of his Aragon 3s, and that was the first time that I had ever really skated Razors besides one pair of Genesis, and I wasn't a fan of
the
Genesis.
Aragon 3s? What color were those? I don't remember. Is that
they were white with black cuffs and a black backslide.
The SL skate.
And it was the SL. And I swear to this day that was still the best I ever skated was that night. So it just kind of clicked, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to keep skating these. Ended up going to California on a trip for a job, and a buddy of mine that rollerblades out there needed me out there for some video work. So obviously while I was there, we skated a bunch. So got to like go to the Razors warehouse and meet everybody, and met Andy, met Jeff, and kind of skated with, I think it was Tyrone Ballantine was in town. Mm-hmm. So I got to hang out with him and skate with him.
That was not a long time ago then. That's when Tyrone was filming?
That's when the Razors house was still a thing.
Okay. So that was like when he was.
Because I remember house.
I remember Tyrone going there twice. First for the Valo video, and after for the Blader Gang.
The Future.
Okay. That's the one.
I think it was like that, like that time. But yeah, like that was cool to like go out there and see that. And that's the only time I've ever been to California. But yeah, I came back to North Carolina after that, and then things with the girl that I had moved there didn't work out. So ended up moving back to Pittsburgh for a bit, and then was there for a year. And that's kind of when I started doing Lumen. And everybody who knows me knows that I'm big into clothing companies and having them. Lumen was the one I think that was the biggest for me. I lived off of that. I didn't even do design work for a year.
See, I don't know what Lumen is. You're going to need to explain me Lumen.
Yeah, Lumen was a clothing company that I had for maybe, I want to say like 3 or 4 years. And at a point that was literally my job. Like I was living off of Lumen. It was just kind of, everybody remembers the owl. It was like a big owl logo, and everybody loved the owl. And that's kind of was the thing for it. But I've always been into like streetwear and graphic tees, and that kind of, ties in with graphic design work. So I've always tried to like design for clothing companies or design for skating companies, and like bands that I like, just kind of like all coincides and goes hand in hand with each other. So yeah, Lumen was like the thing for me for the longest time. And I mean, coming to today, now I have a brand called Outward, and I'm trying to get Outward as big as Lumen was, because I want to do that as my job. Like I would love to have just the clothing company.
And what
be my
about
job.
Brigade? Don't you still have
Brigade's still going on? Yep. With me moving recently and like focusing so much on Outward, all like kind of the time and money and effort that I would have put into Brigade, I wanted to really put into Outward, because Outward can go to so many more people, because it's not pigeonholed into like one thing, just like skating. It's music, and it's going outdoors, and the whole point of it is kind of going out and living your life and not wasting your life is like kind of the whole point of the brand. Mm-hmm. And then it's got a very specific style, so like the style appeals to certain people, but that just it's going to be more promotable to more people. Now, not that having Brigade just focused on skating is a bad thing, we all just know, the state of the industry and the state of the community. Living off of a rollerblading company it's not a realistic thing. Brigade is more of a fun side project. So, a lot of the time and money that I would have put into Brigade recently, I've put into Outward instead, because I want Outward to actually kind of, go somewhere and grow into something that I can do for, a very long time.
Okay. And how is it going? Is it getting there?
Not bad. You know what? It's getting there. Yeah. And it's going to take time. It took Lumen, 2 or 3 years to get to the point where I was living off of it. And, my whole thing is with social media the way it is now, there's no excuse not to. If I could make Lumen work like that before Instagram, before promoting on Facebook was really a thing, I have no excuse to not make Outward work now.
But what happened with Lumen?
I got to the point where I didn't like it. I didn't believe in it. People just wanted that owl logo on absolutely everything. And I'm a designer. I don't want to put the same thing on different items all day. I want to make new things. I want to try different things. And like when I was trying different things, people weren't into them and they weren't buying them. They just wanted the owl. And I just kind of lost touch and just
slowly
kind of
started
wasn't.
dying.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing anymore. So I, stopped doing it. I can't even remember when. Past couple years, I've moved around so much and had so many opportunities that I've gone for and been all over that it kind of just went by the wayside. And I tried to bring it back and it just didn't work. What I realized is when I tried to bring it back, the vision I had for it was Outward. So now it's like a much more clear and concise kind of brand and marketing for Outward, and it just everything kind of clicked and made sense finally.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm out of it. I don't really know because I haven't seen it. None of it. I need to see it.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I feel like maybe a lot of guys overseas wouldn't really see, and especially because it's not promoted within skating like Brigade was.
Let me just check it. I'm just opening Instagram. How can I find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is just my name. It's
No.
Stefan Brandow.
The company. I know yours.
Outward is Outward Supply Co.
How would you spell that so that I can check it and people can also? How would you?
It is OUTWARD SUPPLY.
Let me see. Outward Supply. Let me just check. Outward Supply Co. I like the logo.
Thank you.
That's cool. I really like the logo. Kind of like I don't know how you call that, like a dégradé, would you say, but like a digital dégradé, something like that?
The whole thing with the logo that I kind of wanted it to be is almost like a sunset. Yeah. So I want to do a lot of very kind of like graphic and simple things for this, where a lot of the clients that I have for my design work, they're kind of intensive and almost like more tattoo based because it's a lot of, pop punk and hardcore bands.
Dude, I love your stuff.
I love designing that way.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I love
fine.
the stuff. I'm just going down. I love it.
Thank you.
I want to buy shit. I want to buy that. I want to buy that. There's the one that says hold fast. That says Outward with the letters in.
Hold fast to what you love. That's kind of the tagline of the brand.
I love that one. I love the whole black. Is that black on black?
Is it the long sleeve?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dark gray on black.
I love it. I want that one too.
Thank you.
There's two. Let me see if I want any other one. For now, there's two, and there's the other one that says Forged by Exploration. I love that one too.
Yep.
Okay, I got 3 shirts. I'm buying 3 shirts. How can I buy these?
You can get them right through the site. There's actually international shipping on the website.
Okay, perfect. Would you guys ship to South Africa, or if I'm going to Portugal in 2 weeks, I'm going to Europe. No, next week. Can I order it to South Africa or should I order it to Europe?
Your wife will still be in South Africa, correct?
No, she's coming. That's cool.
Or is she going with you?
Might be better for you.
I mean, and this is the hardest thing that I've had. I'm dealing with this with Brigade right now too. With international shipping for us, it can take anywhere from like 2 weeks to 2 months. And I feel so bad when I have friends that order things even from England, and it takes a month because you never know with the U.S. Postal Service. So
yeah. That's the problem that I have in South Africa. Basically, for me, it takes from 2 months to 2 years.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. But the truth is, whenever you send something from USPS is basically it's your national postal service, right? So if it comes from your national postal service, once it hits South Africa, it also goes through the national postal service here, and that's the problem. Because I think if it goes to Portugal, it'll be fast. So I'll place my order after this. I'm excited. I want those.
Awesome.
I want those 3 items. I really like it.
I'm excited too, man. I think only my friend from England, Toby, he's the only one from overseas that's gotten it so far. So everybody else has been here.
That's sick. So
that'd
I'm
be really
the
cool.
second one. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So so you went to California. When you went to California, what skates were you skating?
I was skating those Aragon 3s.
Okay, still. When did the cults came into your life?
So I want to say I think it was my second year in North Carolina. I was riding for a skate shop in New York City that a friend of mine opened called Tri-State Skate.
So, but that's just, is that 1 year after skating? So you got back to...
It was maybe 3 or 4 months after coming back from California.
Okay. So that was like 1 year after you get those Arrogants. So you skated those Arrogants for 1 year?
Yeah. It wasn't too long after.
Your friend's Arrogants for 1 year.
Yep. So, a buddy of mine, Greg, opened up a skate shop there, and they wanted a Razors shop rider. So he hit up Mac, and Mac McMeans remembered me from riding for Rems. So he told Greg, he's like, well, there's no point in him being, like a shop rider because he's already ridden for Sunshine. He's like, we'll just send him Razors. And that's kind of how I got on. It was from, Chris Edwards and Kato putting me on Rems.
Yeah, you obviously did a good job with Rams. You were like...
Yeah, like I said, Kato was amazing. And I felt horrible leaving, but it was literally like a health issue. Like my knees were in horrible condition at the time.
Dude, I love
So it was one
Kato.
of those like... Oh, he's the best. He
he
met my
was-
girlfriend at the time once and remembered her. Like, just personable guy. He's the best.
It was the worst email that I had to send, probably. So
same.
Yes, I used to skate. I started skating for Rams, and I had problems with my heels. Nothing to do with the skates. Basically, I went to California. It was when Jan Welsh was filming for Leading the Blind. So I got my Rams, the first UFS skates. So before that, they were Remedies. Those were the first Rams.
And then they became Rems after that.
So I got a pair of skates from Kato after winning the Madrid X Battle Finals, something like that. So I went to California. I was supposed to do something for Daily Bread, and I got his skates. I went out and skated. I was so pumped, so excited that I just bruised my heel. Then I had I was for 2.5 weeks in California, and then I had 3 days left. No, I was 3 days left. I was like, no, I'm going to skate. I don't mind. I'll make a way to skate. The last 3 days, I went, 3 days before I leave, I went out with Ryan Schutte, and the first spot of the day, I just twisted I thought I was twisting my ankle, but I actually broke it, and I just realized it a few years later, but I treated it as if it was twisted. So basically, I got back home. I couldn't skate for I could barely walk. I got back home on crutches. And 3 months later, I think I was able to finally start skating. And the next time that I skated was actually, I was studying in Hungary. So I went to a competition in Croatia, in Zagreb. And I ended up becoming second. The second time that I skated the Rams, I became second, and the owner of Ignition Skate Shop spoke with the guys from USD. So he knew that I was going to have a little insert on the Daily Bread. So the day that the Daily Bread came out, I got a proposal. Basically, I was getting skates from Kato, which were amazing. I never had anything like that before. And then USD proposed me to get paid. It was 2003, and man, I wouldn't even dream about it. So when I read that, I remember I was crying, man. I wasn't by myself because I was studying in another country. I was in the library, in the school library, and I remember I had a tear coming out of my eyes, just no way this is happening to me. So I said that was unprofessional from my side, I know, but man, I was just a kid. So I remember just saying yes right away to Mark Corti. Then I was like, oh, now I need to send an email. Now I need to tell Kato about this. So he completely understood, and he was, man, we can't give you a better deal. So good luck with that. And he was always since then.
Oh, nicest guy.
It's amazing. Seriously amazing. So Kato, Lots of love for Kato, huh?
Best guy. Love him.
So keep going. Then and then you got the cults through the shop, or the first
no,
skates that you got from the shop?
I want to say I skated SLs for 3 years. Filmed with Hawk Trackler a lot during that time. That's when I was living back in Pittsburgh. And then I want to say maybe 2013. Ryan Parker gave me a pair of cults because he was all about them for his whole skating career. He's loved cults. And he was like, well, if you're skating razors, he's like, why don't you just try these too? And I tried them, and it was just like an immediate, like 100% yes, I'm skating these. This is great. Chad Anthony was doing the whole cult revolution thing at the time.
Oh, it was him. That's what I was going to ask.
Good friends. Yep, it was right around the same time, so it kind of worked out perfect. And I was very, very good friends with Chad because of James Short and Jolly Jolly Heartbreakers. So, of course, I was like, Chad's doing something with the skate. I want to, do something with him because I love him. And it just kind of worked out perfect. And then I remember when I emailed them about me wanting to skate cults, the big thing was, well, if you continue to skate cults, you'll never be Amateur Pro. And at the time I was like, I don't care about that. That's not something that, I give a shit about, because I just love these skates and I have fun skating them. And that's what I want, to continue skating. Like, I'd never had something with like that much control. And that was like a big thing for me. Like, I don't grind that much. Like, I like toe rolls and jumping off things. That's what I always joke with people about. That's what I like to do. And for those types of things, the cults were perfect. So I had like found my skate and just kind of, stuck to my guns about it and refused to not skate anything else. And that just, for probably the past, 4 years, that was like the thing that I skated. That was my skate for the longest time. Okay, I loved them.
And before we're speaking about the skate that you're skating right now, you became pro for razors, right? What happened? You kept skating the same skate?
They had sent me, they had kind of gotten to the point where it was like, Stefan's skating the cult and he wants to skate that. Why don't we start having him promote the cult? So the cult navies came out and I did the promo video for that. And then I had originally was going to do the promo for the white cult, but at the time Ray Cronenberg had just gotten on the team, and Ray also was a good friend of mine. He rides for Brigade. So they had him do it because, new Razors rider who's also riding the cult. They wanted, somebody new to make a video. So he did that one. And then I ended up making the promo for the Cream too. So that was kind of my thing for the longest time. And then October of last year, I had sent them an email saying, I kind of wanted to do more things with the cult. Like either, to help, with colors or new ideas for coming out. There was talk of a cult specific team for a while.
Did you never draw anything for like being you a graphic designer? Did you never work with Sunshine? Did you never design logos?
I've done most of the ground control wheel graphics. I did the last 2 ground control shirts. I've done most of the Razors t-shirts in the past like 5-6 years.
Okay.
So I got to do a lot of that, which is really cool because, I used to do stuff for Havoc. I used to do stuff for Con Artists. So I always try to like have my hand in like designing something skating related because that's what I love.
Okay. And then,
yeah.
And then what happened since? Because when did you become pro for Razors?
We talked about it in October of last year after I had sent that email about the cult. Jeff Howard and John Fromm, Jeff had been pro for a while and John Fromm had just turned pro. And they were kind of pushing like, well, we want Stefan to be pro too because we want, to all do stuff together and we want to like go on trips together and film together because we're all good friends. And so they kind of really pushed for it and they were in agreement. And I had been filming for almost a year on a video part that I just wanted to make just because. So I was like, well, why don't we use this video part that's, arguably the best thing I've ever made for my pro introduction? So they're like, that's perfect. We're going to introduce Derek Henderson in December. We can do you end of January. So that gave me more time to work on the video. And I made a trip or two to kind of get some more things that I wanted to get for it. And then we put it out end of January is when the video came out.
And wait, we are in May. And I saw you skating other skates. So what happened there?
Yeah. I just started skating V13s.
Are they V13s or M12s? I thought they were M12s. I didn't know.
They're V13s. It's the same colorway as the new white M12s that are coming out, which kind of worked out perfect because I definitely want to get those too. But I haven't been in agreement with the way that they have promoted things and branded the company for a while. And that was part of the reason that I emailed them about things with the cult. Since I started skating the cult, I felt that it was underutilized. I felt like it wasn't promoted. You know, while I was skating the cult is when Valo made the V13 huge. And I said to them, I was like, there's no reason why the cult can't be the V13 for razors. You know, it's a price point skate, but it's an amazing skate. People love it. It just doesn't get promoted. It's super slim. It's all about control and style. And I was like, just because it's a lower price point doesn't mean that it can't be promoted just as much. And if it's one of those things where it's just...
Sorry. Keep going and I'll interrupt you in the end. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, go for it. I was going to say, like, with me and Ray being the only people that skate it, you have like the two guys that are like, okay, these guys have a kind of a specific style of skating, kind of a specific dress and music. And it kind of like goes back to the Shima and Elliott days of the cult. There's no reason why we can't play on that nostalgia and, make the cult cool again now. Like it could have very easily competed with the V13. Everybody was skating V13s for the longest time. And from my perspective, I didn't see why the cult couldn't be that way too. And so many people message me asking the same thing, like, why isn't the cult being promoted more? Like, I'd much prefer to skate cults. And a lot of the people that would have skated cults would never have skated SLs or Genesis or Shifts.
I can justify that. So it was like
a market.
I can justify why they were doing it. I can tell you why exactly. So.
And I was told why too.
Yeah, the thing is, usually for people listening to this that they don't know, the thing is companies, they need to invest. Whenever they do a new product, they need to invest a lot on those new molds. Obviously, whenever they sell a skate like the Cult, it's the profit that they get is usually, they get better profit because the molds are usually more than paid, right? Just like it's an older skate. But at the same time, and if you think about it, it would be better because it's just more money that they make. But at the same time, because they invested so much in the newer skates and the newer molds, being the
shift, new product,
being the shift, being the SL, whatever, they want to pay that first, and then once that is paid, then they would be okay with you skating the other one. But the biggest problem, which is not a problem, it's we create this. The biggest problem is that once the whole skate is paid, if of course we know that it takes longer now than it would take like 15 years ago to pay a mold.
Yeah, for sure.
Once the whole skate is paid, then all the skaters start complaining, we need a new skate, we need a new skate, we need a new skate. So in the end, for the companies, it's
how many times have you seen people complain about a company putting a product out and like, oh, it's just another color?
Let me tell you,
guys don't understand that molds cost hundreds of thousands and so much money, and it's like if you have something that's not broken, why is a company in an industry that's not large going to spend that much just to make a new skate because somebody wants a new skate and not a different colorway?
Dude, and if you think of it as a shop owner, even changing the colors, it's just something as basic as there's Aragon 2, which is all black. And then there's Aragon 3 that comes like 6 months later, which is the white with the black.
Which is white and black.
Do you think the kids
And then you have 3 colors of frames and 3 different sizes,
but do you think
and it's more SKUs for the shop.
Yeah, but do you think the kids would buy the Aragons 2? No, there's the Aragon 3. Why would I buy the old one? Unless you make me the low one, like really cheap. But wait, the skate came out 6 months ago. I live in South Africa. I don't sell razors, but I love what they do, and I'm not complaining. The same with razors or any other brand. The skate came out 6 months ago. If I know that it's going to take about 2 to 3 months for me to get the skate, that means that I get the skate like 3 months. And then
in that time,
and then there's a new one. Out. And then it's just like I get stuck with the product. So it's also hard to understand that. And I've been trying to find ways. Like, man, I come with ideas. We can keep talking about it, but like I had ideas of things that it might not make sense to anyone. But like if you look at boards, have you ever thought that skateboards, it doesn't matter if you like the Pro or not, they come in 2 sizes and that's it. Like Paul Rodriguez comes in a 8.25 and a 8.0 and that's it. And if your boards are 8.15, they don't mind. They're not going to make a board for you just because you like another size. That's it. Each model comes in one size. In inline skates, that's really hard to do. But imagine like if the Aragon skate or if your pro skate would come in a size UK 7, UK 9 and UK 11. And then the Ian McLeod would come in a UK 8 and the UK 6. And then I'm not saying this is the future or this is the way, but it makes a huge difference for a shop. Whenever there's a new model coming out, they need to buy every single size. It's crazy. It's seriously hard for shops when it comes to that.
And with shops and so few shops and shops being so small now, I can only imagine it makes it even harder where it's, I have to get every single size of this model, and is it even going to sell?
But you know what? Having less shops also creates more opportunity and creates more. That's one of the things that I was going to talk to you after. Creates more opportunity for the shops because there's less competition, which I'm not really happy about it. I wish there would be more competition with me here in South Africa. I seriously wish, because competition only makes us better. But at the same time, creates opportunity.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you know of any pro skater that has a website selling products from the brand that works with him? This is just one.
No, and one of the biggest things that I've kind of talked with people about in the past couple months of everything that I've had going on is with brick and mortar dying in general, there's no reason for shops or, like you said, a pro to have a online store that sells direct to the consumer. That doesn't mean you can't still sell to shops. That doesn't mean that people aren't going to still go to shops and buy directly from shops. But it's a way for brands to stay alive and to keep getting their product out to more people easily.
I get it. But some companies, they have like their agreements with the distributors and with the shops.
Which is tough.
I know, like Sunshine and Powerslide, they suffer with that. Like they don't sell to customer. They do not sell to final customer. They go through distribution. But if you ask any of these brands, I know that there is not one single pro doing it, not one. But if you ask any of these brands if they would be willing to help their pros by setting, like if they set online shop, if they would sell it for them, or if they would allow him to have some products and if he could sell it, I'm sure they would, man. They want their pros to be the best they can. And it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter if you are Nick Lomax, if you are Alex Brosco, or if you are John and whatever. It's the same, it's just they want their pros to be the best they can. But a lot of times it also needs to come from the skaters. And I'm not defending Razors or Sunshine or anything. It's just like, I think a lot of times us, skaters,
this is an idea as per the community.
We decide to live in that mindset that companies need to give us, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I'm good. I'm really good. I do my job promoting the sport, and they need to give me. Yeah, and a lot of times they wish they could give you. And I'm not saying you are right or you are wrong, man. I want to know what happened, and you still didn't tell me, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, and on that point, I've always said, too, that like when you are riding for somebody, it doesn't matter what you're doing, scootering, BMX, skateboarding, or even rollerblading. If somebody is sending you a product, it is your job and an agreement to promote that product because that is why they're sending it to you. It's a two-way street.
Of course.
The brand and the rider have to work together, to figure out what's best for both of them. It's just a communication thing.
Yes, completely with you on that. It's just like whenever they're sending you product, it's less money that they're putting on a Facebook advertisement, or it's less money that they're putting on a magazine ad that no one is doing it right now. But it's a decision. They decide to invest that money on you. So yes, completely with you on that.
Well, it's something that I just listened to the skate talk you did with Alex, and it's one of those things that you guys kind of said. Sometimes it's not always about the absolute best, most skilled guy, because if that guy is a dickhead, that guy is not going to be able to promote the company as much as somebody who is in the community and doing things and is posting content and is being sociable with people and going to contests and hanging out, like that person is going to do better for a brand than somebody who is just skilled and nothing else.
Completely with you on that. Like there's a lot of guys out there just amazing doing all that. I always give the same example, and you know him too really good. Montre, he is, but when I mean Montre, man, Montre is like super skilled, and it's not even fair that I'm talking about him. But
it's unfair how ungodly amazing that kid is.
Yeah, but like imagine if Montre wouldn't be skilled. If he wouldn't, but he still is. But if he wouldn't be skilled, he would still be
his personality would still sell.
He would still be one of the best out there. So
exactly.
So I guess we're both on the same book when it comes to that. So how did you communicate with Razors about your decision? How did the whole thing?
So this is something that I've and one of the things, since people saw that video of me skating something different, everybody's like, didn't you just go pro for Razors? Why are you doing that? Well, this is something that wasn't a, immediate decision. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while. And, like I said, when I first started skating Colts, even then there was kind of a pushback of, we don't want you doing that. And for me, I have felt kind of almost, I use this in a horrible way, but like almost like the stepchild that gets forgotten.
Yeah.
There's projects I want to do and things that I have ideas for.
Yeah, but because you're not promoting their products. Because you're not promoting their main product.
And that's kind of why I would do my own thing anyway. I'll always make videos. I'll always promote my, what the project that I have going on, because I love skating. I love making videos. It's something I'm passionate about and I love. So I'm always going to be making things. But when I get told to not bother to make a promotional edit for the brand that I ride for, you start kind of questioning things. And I didn't agree with how they were promoting things. I didn't agree with how people that I talk to view them, because it's concerns that I had voiced to them. And at this point in my life, I'm making so many positive changes and so many things that are going good for me, that skating is my fun time. And I didn't want my thing that is fun in my release to be stressful or bogged down by me not agreeing with the company that I ride for.
Totally with you on that one.
So, and like I told them and I emailed them, it's, Jeff Akers has been absolutely amazing the whole time that I've ridden for them. He's always sent me things if I needed them, always on point, but I just didn't agree with the way things were being done. And from what I saw after going pro, being pro for them, for me, it might be different for Jeff, it might be different for John or Derek Henderson. For me, it literally changed nothing. If anything, things for me got worse there being pro. They're asking us for content. I'm giving them content. It's not getting posted. And I know I wasn't the only rider that felt that way. It's just one of those things where if I'm going to be involved and working that hard for somebody, I want to be appreciated by them. It's knowing your worth. And I felt that for all the time and effort that I put in, I wasn't getting it back. So between that and just me wanting to, skating is fun. I want to have fun. And like, if I make something for you, being a rider, I would hope that you would post it and not say, don't bother.
Okay, I get it. It makes total sense what you're saying. And did you ever thought about going for other company, or it was just, like you said, you just want to do your own thing and not bother about representing anyone? Or you think do you feel like you need to have another company so that you have a goal or something? Or that's the reason why you also have Brigade, so you can put your content into something?
Yeah, like I said, skating for me, I love it so much and I'm so passionate about it. And anybody that knows me in skating knows how much I love it and how much I love doing it. I will never stop skating. I'll never stop making videos. I love filming and editing. That's something I'm always going to do. If I do it for a company, great. If I do it for myself, great. It's going to happen no matter what. The thing with me and Razors specifically, I just needed to stand up for myself, because I felt that I wasn't being appreciated the way I should have been, and I didn't agree with the way things were being done. And that's nothing against them as a brand. That's nothing against me not appreciating them turning me pro, because that's a big deal. It's a very big deal. You know, as kids growing up, we all wish for that to happen. And I was so very excited to have that happen. But right now in my life, the way I'm doing things and the way they're operating just doesn't coincide. So for me, I would have rather just left, done my own thing, skate whatever I want to skate, and just have fun and make stuff and not stress about it.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think that the number of riders that they have would make a difference? Would be like one of the reasons why that was happening to you?
For me personally, I think it was, and this is, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm talking shit on them, because it was, you know, riding for them was amazing. I still love the cult. You know, they're not horrible people. It's just I didn't, you know, our visions of things didn't coincide and align. For me, I felt like if you're going to introduce this new pro team as a core aggressive company, that pro team should be what is selling your skates. You know, if you're a company that is based on, you know, tricks and videos and not relying on speed skating or fitness skating to make your money, your pro team and the videos and content that you put out should be the number one thing that is selling your skates. And I felt like they just kind of wanted to do the bare minimum and didn't want the pro team to really be a pro team. You know, a few of us had talked about doing projects together and, you know, flying to meet up with each other and, you know, we were just trying to come up with all these cool, rad things, because we were all excited that this was like, you know, this new pro team that they announced. And it just, nothing we said to them they wanted to do or were excited about. And it was like one thing after another of just kind of like, no, don't bother, or like, no, we're not going to do that, or we can't do that. And for us, it was kind of like, well, why bother then? You know, if everybody's going to be on the same level there, then why announce a new pro team kind of thing?
Do you think if you would start pushing a little bit more with the big wheels, and because of course Razors is going a little bit into that route because it's the way to go for some companies to make a little bit more profit, do you think if you would have gone that way, would have been different for you? There would have been more opportunity for you inside the brand?
You know what? I think that, like I said, for me at this point in my life, I think that no matter what, I probably would have ended up at some point leaving regardless. And like I said, I don't want to seem like I'm bad talking them. I don't want people to not buy Razors, because they're great skates. I love them. They were amazing. But I just don't agree with the way things are run. And I didn't feel appreciated. And instead of just staying to stay and get free skates, I would have much rather stand my ground and stay true to my ethics and do my own thing and have fun skating and not stress about it.
Okay, that makes sense. And the reason why you're now trying other skates is because you've been skating the same brand for a long time and you kind of feel like you need a change, or is there anything else? Do you have any? Is there any?
I mean, obviously, if I was gonna stop, you know, skating the Razors, I was gonna have to find something else. And I've tried a few things over the past maybe month of just kind of, you know, figuring out what I was going to do next and what I was going to skate next. Because obviously having a skate that I love and is comfortable is important, because when I go skate, I want to have fun. I don't want to, you know, I don't want it to be annoying or stressful. Like, that's my fun time. That's what I love to do. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying different things. And so far the V13 M12, you know, boot is the closest thing I've found to a cult, and I'm having a blast in it. So I tried adapts. They just weren't for me. Was thinking about trying rollerblades, and, you know, when it came down to it, I was like, you know, I grew up skating M12s during the Face the Music era, and then just the closest thing to a cult, in my opinion, and I've been having fun in them. So that's all that matters to me. So I'm comfortable and I'm having fun.
Is that the reason why you said that you really want to get the M12s, the new ones?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm skating. I have a pair of beat up white size 10s and a pair of used 8.9s, and I'm kind of trying to find my sizing. And then obviously, you know, if I like the boot, I would like to get you know, a new pair. So I've got crates set aside that I'm going to skate when I get the new boot, and got brand new wheels set aside. So when I get them, it's a whole brand new setup. So I'll be set for a few months.
Okay. What else? Skating wise, what other stuff out there would you like to try? Now that you've been skating for a long time with the same, do you want to try any other?
You know what's funny? I kind of was having this conversation with people. It's like, well, what are you thinking about? And I was like, literally nothing interests me. Like there was nothing.
I think I lost you there. I'm gonna call you again. Yo, I don't know what's happening here.
Still there?
Yes, you were saying that literally nothing interests you.
Yeah, there was just, and I was kind of having this conversation with friends because we were talking about, how many brands we've lost and how few skates. Not that there's not choices out there, but for me personally, there was just not a lot that I was interested in. I wanted to try adapts. I wanted to try the M12 V13 boot, and the only other thing that I'd be interested in trying is the rollerblade new jack. Mm-hmm. But now that I've skated I've got a pair of V13s and I'm enjoying them, I think I'm good for a while.
And the THEM skates, aren't you curious to try them?
Yeah, I'm good friends with Russell Day. I asked him if he knew of anybody that had any, or if he had any old ones, and he mailed me a pair of boots that he had ridden on for a year or so they were kind of already broken in. They weren't for me. I need a tight plastic boot to my foot. I just, the Cult was the best skate for me, and the M12
and
V13
THEM
boot.
Skates. What about the THEM skates?
I'm in between an 8 and a 9, and the sizing for them's it looks off for my foot. Because they're they do the 7, 8, 9, 10. I feel like the 9, 10 is going to be too big, and the 7, 8 is going to be too small. So,
okay, you might need to try them too. And what about the ANs? Have you thought about the ANs?
I have absolutely. That was one of the ones I have no interest in. It's just not. I like skating anti-rocker, and there's no interest from me for any of the USD skates. Just nothing that looks interesting to me. Yeah, just not my thing. So
perfect. So now I'm gonna go with some of the questions that some people made through Facebook. Someone said something about once the whole valo downjalu came out, you were one of the first ones to say that people should support.
I remember the exact comment that I said too.
Okay,
it was,
you can say it.
And this was before. I don't know if John was super smart about marketing this the way he did, but people were freaking out. So let's be honest, people were freaking the fuck out when that happened.
Because he made it first, the brand is dead, and then the next.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if that's how he wanted to market it, great idea, because people were going nuts over it. But it was, okay, Valo's dead, and everybody's like, holy shit, our lives are over. Rollerblading is going to be dead forever. Like that attitude, and then immediately Roces posting like, hey, we have the V13, and without us, or the M12, without us hearing what had happened. And I remember my comment specifically because Face the Music is my favorite video. Charles Dunkel and Ollie Short are my favorite skaters. I said, no Dunkel, no Julio, no care. Because anybody who knows me knows that I love memes and being sarcastic, and I don't take a lot of things seriously. I like having fun. So, after hearing, everything that John said and, everything, it was never, I had friends from Columbus that are like diehard Dallas supporters that were like, no, fuck that, don't buy those. And, I just skated in Columbus with a pair of V13s, and they're like, oh, you're going to get the Roces? And I'm like, yeah, I probably will buy them when they come out because I'm enjoying skating these. And they're like, oh, come on, dude. Doing that whole thing, which... My whole thing is I just want to skate what's fun and comfortable. So, and I'm enjoying them right now.
Dude, they're coming out with a sick team. Huh? They're going to be like, Roche is going to have a sick team. Until now, like the two skaters that they announced, they're both super, super sick.
I have said for the past 5 years, since SSM and kind of NIM, passed away and were gone, that whoever picked up Joe was a genius. And I didn't understand why nobody had up until this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Joe
I know that
awesome.
he tried a lot of skates and he skated with a lot of
Probably just wasn't feeling them.
I don't know. I really don't know. I know he skated for USD before. I also know. I think he skated for SSM. I think he skated also for Razors before. But I don't really know what happened. Maybe he wasn't just feeling any of the skates.
Hey, you got to skate what you're comfortable with and what you like. That's why when people are stocking up on shadows, I'm completely understanding, because if that's your thing, that's your thing. Like if that's what makes skating fun for you, stock up on them and keep skating them.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Like it's kind of like the same with the Solomon. Some people don't understand when I mean that. I totally get when people skate with older skates, and I don't
use that as an example.
Obviously, the thing is what I mean by that. I keep saying the same. It's like we need to support as much as we can the brands that are trying to do everything they can. Even like it's
that
like we said before,
existing now, trying to do things for us now.
Exactly, man. It's like if you're gonna be skating, like I understand that you like an older model from USD as an example. You like the classic drones. They don't make the classic drones anymore. Obviously, if you buy a classic drone, the money's not going for the brand anymore. They don't even have the stock of it. I'm not telling you not to buy them. That's what you love. That's what you love. It's not up to me. What I mean is like...
But the cool thing about that is you can buy frames now. You can buy wheels and keep putting, you know what I mean? Like you can continue to support shops and brands that are existing now trying to do things for us.
And it's the same with Salomons too. It's just... What I mean by this is like try to support as much as you can the companies that are doing everything they can for us. That's it. It's just...
Which I feel like that was the point of your video, but because you used Salomon as an example, people kind of latched onto that instead of realizing the whole thing. And I even posted it. But it was kind of a shitstorm. It was kind of a shitstorm on my page when I posted it, because the whole point of it was not Salomon specifically. The whole point of that video was, hey, obviously our community is getting smaller. Obviously there's less and less brands. We should be supporting those that are still around.
But it was funny because the day after, then there was a thing that John announced the end of Valo. So like, oh, he knew it.
Oh, it was right after that, wasn't it? Dude, the Armageddon social media week of rollerblading.
Yeah, everyone chose the time before Winter Clash to put the bombs.
I mean, like I said,
but that brings us to marketing.
Damn good marketing.
But that's what I was going to say. Now that brings us to marketing. When it comes to marketing, that's the video that I just put out. So basically,
which I just watched before this.
Yeah, the skate talk should be out tomorrow, and which is Thursday. No, it's gonna be out Thursday because tomorrow I need to put the video with Be Free, which I still don't know if I can do the trick. I'm gonna skate after this, but this skate talk should be coming out on Thursday. In Europe, Anyway, it should be out on Thursday, and this is being recorded on a Tuesday. And the reason why I made that video that I just put out today, which is like the social media thing, one of the reasons it's what you posted on Facebook, because you posted that video and you asked, what was my opinion? Why didn't that video have more views?
Yeah, that was something that I had been wanting to ask for, kind of skating in general, about full video parts and YouTube, and kind of, how people feel about the Instagram trend. And I know with everything you do, kind of being like our resident, YouTuber, how you felt about it, because it's an interesting topic right now,
dude. And I can tell you that who posted that video is doing amazing, and that's Adam Johnson. Adam Johnson has been obviously he knows about the YouTube algorithm, and you see it the way he's been posting, because
he does a great job with social media and Instagram stories.
Yes, amazing, and he does all those the mails that you get every single month.
Yep. Yeah, that's half the time when I find out about dead stuff, it's through there,
It's amazing. That's what he's doing. It's amazing. And again, he knows what he's doing when it comes to posting on YouTube and all that. I'll be talking about more of that. But obviously, a post like that, when you get the same video, and that's the video that I just put it out today, when you get some content that comes from Google or from YouTube, because YouTube is Google, and you post it on Facebook, it's not going to get the views. You need to find...
I know bands deal with that a lot. Bands have that problem when they post a new album or something. It doesn't get to all of their fans.
No, man. And there's a few reasons. There's a few reasons. First, it's coming from competition. Basically, they're both fighting all the time. They both want to make money. It's their businesses. So if you post something on Facebook, they want you to post the content optimized for Facebook. And usually 90%, I would even say more than 90% of the people on Facebook are through their mobile devices. So your video, that's one of the things.
They want it to stay native in their platform. They don't want it to go to another platform. They want it to stay native inside of theirs.
And that's why your video, the video that you posted yesterday with the Roces skates, Roces, like people don't like when they say Roces. So, so that's why when you posted a video with the Roces skates, the video did so good because you made like a square aspect ratio 1:1. That's more mobile friendly, and it would be even better for Facebook if it was, instead of being 1920 per 1080, if it would be 1080 per 1920, almost like a story, because that would show a lot more. You know, when you just scroll down on Facebook,
you're not scrolling with your phone sideways.
Exactly, but when you're scrolling, but check this: when you're scrolling down, if you make a landscape video, which is the regular HD, there will be just a tiny bit of an image. But if it's a square, the image will be a lot bigger on your phone, and if it's a portrait, it's going to be even bigger. So while you're scrolling down, there will be a lot more time with that old image going through in front of your eyes. So there's a lot more possibility. You don't even need to press on it because it starts playing by itself usually. So while you're just scrolling, you're already watching the video. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you post
this is
natively,
something that I think about all the time.
Yeah, but if you post natively on Facebook with that type of aspect ratio, usually it's going to do a lot better. But at the same time, if you're going to post on Facebook a link from YouTube,
isn't going to be seen as much.
Man, just scroll down a YouTube link and check how small it is. Basically, they're going to use the old landscape image, and then in that landscape image,
it's a straight up thumbnail. It's so tiny.
No, check it. In that landscape image, they're going to put the title, the text on the right, and then a really, really tiny square where you can see the thumbnail. And no one presses on it. And what the algorithm does is, unless you mask the link, and I'll tell you how you do that link masking, unless you mask the link, they will not show that to other people. But you can, the best way for you to post a YouTube video on Facebook would be making a little teaser like you did, a square or a portrait video, short video that will play, but like choose the best parts, and then make a call to action for people to go and check your video on your YouTube.
Yes.
Basically, you put a little
That's something that I did the past year with a lot of the video parts that I made.
But now check this.
I would make a trailer for Instagram of like, hey, I have a new part out now. The link is in my bio. Because why are you going to
but even the link that you put in your bio, the link that you put in your bio, or the link that you put on your Facebook, that link needs to be masked. And what is masking a link? Basically, there's this website called Bitly. If you put that link and create another link from this website, I don't know if I'm explaining it right. Basically,
would that be like using tiny URL?
Yes, it's like a Google shortener, something like that, like a link shortener. Basically, that's you avoiding that Facebook or Instagram recognizes that link as the competition.
Coming from another platform.
From a competition platform. It's not coming from another platform. Exactly. It's like the competition. So if that link is masked that way, then they will still promote it. They will still show your profile, or they will still show the post. But if you don't do that, they will do everything they can, man. They want your post to do great, because if you post it right, you'll get a message like a day or two later just saying your post did great.
Hey, boost this post.
Yes, your post is doing great. If you pay us, we can keep boosting it.
You can get more.
Because that's how they make their money, man. So
Yeah, and it's understandable. That's something that I deal with outward, and that's kind of why I'm so interested in, social media marketing that's the new thing. Like if you are a business, you have to get on board. Like it's not a fad. It's not something that's going to go away anytime. And that's why I'm so interested in learning.
Dude, and it's something that, it's constantly changing. If you think that you're going to university and you're going to learn it and you're going to be the best at it, sorry.
By the time you're out, it's going to be completely different.
Man, I'm going to tell you about YouTube. YouTube, they have around 100 official changes per year, and per change they tested in beta about 10 times. That means that in 1 year there's about 1,000 changes, little things that we don't even know in the algorithm. Now imagine, in 1 year the whole platform can be completely different. So a few years ago, I can tell you that, just a little example. When I first started uploading on Facebook was about 15, 16 months ago. All you would need, was just to press a button and you would be able to monetize your videos. Then, a few months later, they said from now on you need to have 100 subscribers if you want to monetize your videos.
Yes, I remember people freaking out about that.
And now it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed for you to be able to monetize. And this is YouTube. I'm obviously a lot more into YouTube, even if my job is mainly Facebook. But the thing is, all these things you need to be constantly getting informed. And now I'm starting to get also a lot into LinkedIn, because it's for business and for work it's needed. But these things, the way I see it is, you do all these because you need it for work, but at the same time you can take advantage of this for your passions, and it's a way to help what you love. It's a way to help what you really love. So okay, let's move away from this one. Let me see what else we got here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you and I could be on that subject all day.
Dude,
it's we're all super interested in.
It's just I can talk about this forever. It's just one of those things. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Let me go down. As you can see, I'm obviously not the best at planning. I've been over the last weeks, it's been crazy for me. How did you got into? Didn't you start working for some music companies or what happened?
I've been
there?
doing freelance design for bands for a very long time, and then while I was living in Baltimore. The first time I got a job offer to be a graphic designer for a big bodybuilding company that I was a fan of. Mm-hmm. They were an indie clothing company, and they made, tons and tons of money, and they had their own warehouse and other companies and a car racing team. And I think somebody may have asked about that, but I did that for about a year. And that didn't work out. The owner kind of didn't want somebody aside from him doing design work. And actually, funny thing is, I actually talked to him last night. It was the first time he and I had talked outside of a random Facebook message in a while. But it's just one of those things where it was his company. He wanted to do his own thing. I had a different design style, and it didn't work out. So me leaving there is actually why I ended up in Columbus. So.
And how does a graphic designer deals with that? Not because you said already, because you weren't agreeing with razors, you decided leaving. But how is it for you? Because it's your job. If someone asks you to do something, because you have obviously the technical skill, but sometimes how can you get creative when you don't really feel it? If you know what I'm saying.
That's exactly was the situation. And it's not a bad thing. It was his brand, and he wanted the designers he had on staff to design in his old style. But the whole reason they had brought me in was to design things in my style and kind of move the brands in a new direction. And that never happened. They just wanted to kind of stick to what they did. So there was times when they had me do other things, and they had me managing the gym for a little bit, doing social media for the gym. And that was something that I had never done before. It was managing a social media, accounts for a company. So I didn't know what I was doing. And just both of us kind of came to the conclusion that we loved working with each other, but my style was different than what they wanted. So he even said to me, I'm holding you back. You need to be doing what you need to do, and it's pointless for you to stay here when we don't need you. So
so you ended up just deciding it's not your thing and you're out.
Yep. Yeah. We left on good terms. It wasn't, I didn't get fired or anything. Gave me severance, and the severance helped me start a brigade and helped me move to Columbus. And they're super rad. They like just had a TV show and like all this crazy stuff. And his wife is the #1 female bodybuilder in the world. It was a very cool and weird year of my life being involved with that industry. But
were you into training? Did you start?
Yeah, I'm actually super into fitness, and that was part of the reason that I knew about that brand. And while I was there, I got huge, obviously. But yeah, fitness is like a super big part of my life. I started lifting maybe 3 years before I started working there. Mm-hmm. So I try to get to the gym at least 5 times a week. It's just kind of like another outlet like skating, where it's, you're pushing yourself physically, and it's like a mental release, and you always feel better after, and you feel better about yourself. And it's just another thing of mine that I love to do.
So describe us a Stefan Brandow day. What's a day like in your life? So
it always changes because every year I'm living somewhere different. But right now, I'll wake up usually 7:30 or 8. I'll get coffee and a bagel, and then I'll head to the gym at about 10:30. Lift for anywhere from a half an hour to an hour, kind of depending on, what's going on that day or what I've got going on that week. Like if I know I'm going to skate all weekend, I'm not going to do legs, 2 times that week, because then I'll be dead for skating that weekend. And then I'll be done at like 11:30, have lunch, and then that's usually when I'll start doing design work if I have design work.
Okay. And when does the skating come? Do you
pretty
skate?
Much it.
How often do you skate?
It's been weird because I just moved to Columbus a month ago. Or not Columbus, Jesus. I've moved from Columbus to Baltimore a month ago. So I've still been like unpacking and getting things around. And then me trying to find skates was weird. So there was like a 2-week period where I didn't skate, and then I got skates, and then I got those adapts and I just wasn't feeling them. So there was like a weekend where I didn't skate. But now that I've got, the V13 M12 boot, probably going to start skating a lot. A lot of the guys here, skate on Thursdays. So probably Thursdays and Sundays will be the skate days. And my best friend still lives here. He has filmed most of my videos. Either him or Hawk are the people who have always filmed me, and he still lives here. He was going to be moving to California, but he's luckily going to be staying for another year. So he and I try to go out when he gets out of work at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, or we go out on weekends, and I got a pretty good situation. There's not as many people that skate here as Columbus, but the people that skate here at least communicate of like, hey, I'm free on Tuesday. Is anybody skating? Or hey, I can only skate Thursday. Let's skate. So I'll still have the opportunity to skate a ton.
That's awesome. And tell me, when you go to the gym, do you have any do you try to train to get better at skating too, or when you train it's mainly like your just regular fitness routine without even thinking about skating?
Like I said, if I know I'm gonna have like a weekend trip of skating, I'm not gonna do legs all weekend because then I'll be dead for skating. But when I started lifting, the whole point of it. Still there?
Yeah, here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. The whole thing for me when I started lifting was I wanted to get bigger, because I've always been a really tiny, skinny dude, and I got tired of it. I wanted to get bigger. But getting into fitness and health, you just end up, diving deep into it. So now I try to eat very healthy, and, you feel better because of it. And it just becomes I don't want to say an addiction, but it just becomes something like skating where you're passionate about and you want to learn all about it. So there's been times when I was living in Pennsylvania working for that bodybuilding company, I hadn't skated a lot during that time. So I knew I wanted to start skating again. So I did more cardio, and I did more leg exercises that helped me, and kind of, I don't know, just kind of getting better general physical shape.
Did you felt any difference? Did you felt any difference in your skating?
You know what's crazy? And I felt it, and I've actually had people comment on it. When I got more weight and a little more top heavy and fuller, because I was just a skinny dude, even my best best friend Josh that I was just talking about, him filming me, he was like, you look so much more solid now because your body has kind of filled out. Mm-hmm. And when you land, you kind of land with like a more, more weight. So it seems more solid.
Okay.
So that's cool.
That makes sense.
That's something I'm definitely not mad about because, I love people with super clean and cool style. So
kind of like Derek Anderson. That's what everyone, like in those comments, everyone came and commented about Derek Anderson. And there's like Corey, my friend Corey, that just moved out of South Africa to Sweden. He made the best question. When are you playing a game of Blade with with Derek?
I need to get out. Well, and this is something that I talked about with him because I'm riding for his bearing company now. He skates with a guy from where Intuition Skate Shop, Chad Tannehill. And they both kind of skate like big burly dudes. And it's always been a joke between us that we're going to make a man blading at it. But Derek would probably absolutely destroy me in a game of skate. I feel like the only thing that I could ever get anybody on is like a toe roll.
Nah, man, you got those cess slides and toe rolls on lock. So I think you guys have like...
You know what's funny? I haven't done cess slides in a very long time. I saw Aaron Schultz made the comment on Facebook of what would you get rid of first? And I have to go with cess slides because I don't even do them anymore.
Come on. Can you still do torque cess slides?
Like the spinning Unity ones, probably.
No, just the torque. Just the torque.
So long.
Torque cess
I've
slide.
never been able to do torque cess slide.
Dude, I used to do them so easily, and like now, it's just to think of it. All I can think is just, I'm gonna fall forward. And I used to do them so easy, and now I just can't anymore. Even like just thinking about it, it's scary. I kind of feel like I'm going forward, like right away.
Watching Kevin Dowling do them back in the day was always terrifying too, because I was like, what if there's a crack? Like, or Julian Ba's spectacular, dude. Julian Ba in the Adapt video.
I know that's why you got. That's why you wanted to get the Adapt.
Yeah, probably.
And the kid, that kid Levy. Dude, Levy is one of my absolute favorite skaters. I know, and he kind of reminds me of you skating somehow. His style of skating reminds me of you.
I'm fine with that because I love that kid.
I love the way he skates. I know, I love the way he skates, and he kind of reminds me of you, and then like bold and all that stuff. It's just sick.
I love it.
Okay, man. I guess we're coming to an end, no? Is there anything else that you want to tell us? Anything else that I have one more question. I
mean, and I'm just living life, having fun, trying to do my own thing, and I hope that other people will do the same. Just kind of, I'm a big Robbie Pitts fan, and I love that Robbie pushes the positivity because I feel like right now in skating, the community is the best it's ever been. Even though the industry may not be as big as it once was or in the best position, I feel like all of us that are left in the community love what we do. We're all older. We're all a little more understanding. And I feel like people should be a little more aware of that. And, there's no room for negativity. If you don't like something, don't pay attention to it. Don't watch it. If you're passionate about something, let it be known, but be respectful about it. There's a big difference between being real and being negative about something. Yeah. So you can be realistic and, tell people how you feel and have an opinion, but you can do it in a non-negative way.
Completely with you on that one. Have you listened to Chris Edwards' podcast that Mike Powell just put it yesterday?
No, I saw that though, which I need to because, like I said, working for Chris and knowing Chris and his personality, Chris is awesome. I love him.
You need that in your life because that's one of the things that he said. That's one of the things that Chris Edwards just said in that podcast, and that is skating is in a better position than it has ever been. People keep complaining. We might not been there with the Salomons and with all these, sorry about using Salomon again, with all those big brands trying.
People understand why.
Yeah, I hope they do now. But like, we might not be there with all the big money companies putting money into skating, but the ones that are here right now are the real ones. No one is.
We need to appreciate the people that want to do things for us.
Man, the companies that we have right now, some of them they struggled before until they find the way that they want to work, and none of the companies right now is expecting. None of the company owners is expecting to be a millionaire. But
And they
but
understand
most
that.
of them keep the smile on their face because they're doing what they love to. And when I mean they love to, man, you don't need to be the best at skating to sell skates. You don't even need to skate. If you don't get me wrong, we are mainly skaters. But even if you don't skate, that doesn't mean that you cannot have a company. What I'm trying to say here is, if it doesn't skate, I'm not talking about any company in specific, but if someone is in the skating industry, but he doesn't skate, but he's still here. He went through a bad phase, he went through a good phase, and he's still here. Man, it just deserves all our respect.
That means something.
Yeah, that means something, exactly. And that's why, like,
Well, I mean, look at the Roces and the K2s and the rollerblades still staying around when they could have done what Solomon did.
Exactly. I respect all those brands. Like, Rollerblade wouldn't do anything because, yes, they would be on another group, but especially K2. K2, yeah, they might have not been. They might not been
no
investing.
reason to be in aggressive skating.
Yeah, K2 might have not been investing that much in the aggressive skating scene, but they never really left. And of course, they were making money with fitness skates and all that, but they never left. And Roches, man, I respect those guys. And I was one of the first people. I love what John is doing, but I was one of the first people to stand out for Roches. Like, hey, just calm down. Don't forget that this brand, we need them. They're producing kid skates. They're producing other types of skates that the whole industry needs. Man, if there's only 3 or 4 companies making aggressive skates, we will never have aggressive. We will never have aggressive.
It will never die.
We will never have aggressive skaters if there's only that, because those are usually not the first pair of skates that people have. They usually have just skates to learn how to skate. They need their parents to have skates, like just to go and cruise around. Let them decide what they want to do with the skates. It doesn't need to be tricks. Some people might want to do okay. Some people might want to race, but they need entry-level skates. They need kids skates. They need fitness skates, recreational skates. All these things are needed. And when we go too core, we forget a little bit about that. And I
think that's a big thing that has hurt us for so long, is people wanted to kind of marginalize our, the aggressive thing.
Anti-spandex?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that people don't realize too is, like, when fitness rollerblading is doing great, aggressive rollerblading will do great.
Of course, man.
It's a whole thing. If skating as a whole is doing cool and doing great and like people are loving it, then all the different little facets will have more people getting involved.
Man, all I want is more people to be aware of what we are doing. And that's why I'm trying, like, man, I think you know me. We've been talking a lot. We never really met like in real life, but we've been speaking a lot about all these things. And like, I've been putting a lot of my time. I'm not expecting to get paid out of it. I'm starting to make a little bit of cash. It's obviously not enough for the amount.
It's great.
It's not.
But it's something that you would be doing anyway because you love it.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm obviously not doing it for that. But the truth is, man, I want to educate with what I've been learning my whole life. I want to educate as many people as I can. That's what I'm trying to do. Obviously, I want to skate. I want to try to somehow motivate more people to go out and skate. And it doesn't matter if they're 5 years old, if the kid is 5 years old, or if the guy is 55 or 65. Man, I want more people to go skate. And if they don't like to do tricks, man, let them go out and just skate the road in front of their house. The kid in front of their house might see it and might want to start skating. And that's how things go, man. Whenever you see...
So I don't think people should hate on brands that, are involved in more than just aggressive. I think that was like a big stigma for the longest time. It was like, well, it's not a core brand. Well, that brand that's not quote unquote core is still making aggressive skates, and they're making their money off of other skates and still supporting our tiny little facet of rollerblading.
Here's the 2018 quote from me. If it's here, it's core. That's the thing. If a company is here right now, it's core. They're not in here to get
money because it's not existing.
Fuck rich.
They're doing it.
The money is here. The money exists, but it's just, man, you need to work for that. And that's how everything in life. If you want something, you work for it. It's, man, in 2018, things are accessible. People have access to what they can do to actually make things work. Go out and work. Don't wait. Don't expect things to come and sit in your chair, If you don't do it,
you have no excuse not to with the internet the way it is now.
Yeah, man, money's not coming to your pocket just because you're good at skating or because whatever. It's just
because you exist.
Man, you
have to do something for it.
Exactly, man. And I guess that's it. I guess we're good for today, huh?
It's a good one to leave on. Is some Gary V-esque motivation.
Well, okay, let's finish this one with your favorite quote ever.
That 110% would be my dad. My dad has always said positive equals positive, and for the longest time, I kind of got that. I understood the basis of it, but the past few years, it's really made sense. And that's something that I appreciate him always kind of pushing in my life is, always be a good person, always be positive. And it may not seem like it at that moment, but good things will always come back to you and positive things will always come back to you if you stay positive.
That's amazing. I can see a tattoo with that. Just a plus equal plus.
My parents are rad.
I love it, man. I really love it. Okay, man. Stefan, it was awesome to have this skate talk,
man,
and I'm sure
all the people that you've talked to be included with them. That's kind of an honor for me to be included with the people you've talked to previously. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nah, man. After just an example, after you posting what you did yesterday, the amount of people that engage with that thing that just mean how much the whole skating industry likes you and how much the whole skating industry respects and they look at what you're doing. So sometimes,
and I'm the type of person that wants to be friends with everybody, so I'm all for it.
That's awesome. And that's what we need more. Okay, so we're done. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did, huh? And we're gonna keep in contact. I hope to see you one day soon. We might even meet in
absolutely.
South Africa,
we will
Europe,
definitely be talking
America, whatever.
more and more about our social media interests, for sure.
No, but maybe in real life one day. We'll find a way. I keep saying the same.
That would be great.
I keep saying the same. And the skate world it's small, but small in a good way. I'm pretty sure there will be opportunities for us to meet and maybe a part 2 in real life.
I would love it.
Okay, man.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much, huh?
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it, man. It was awesome talking to you. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, too.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
You too, brother.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Cheers. And that was it. Now you know why Stefan Brandow is skating with other brand other than Razors. Roches in the future? Valo right now? Well, we'll see what he chooses to skate. But what I really want you to get from this old skate talk is the positivity in this guy. We need more of this. I keep saying the same. So for me, this was all worth it. Just the whole positivity about this talk. And what can I tell you? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy this one, do not wait. That's a good one. Did you hear this noise? That was Richie Eisler just sent me a message. That's cool. Okay. I can't really tell you what Richie Eisler sent me the message about right now, but it's cool. It's a cool thing for the skating industry. Anyway, I'm going to finish this skate talk right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy this one, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. If you're subscribed to this channel, you're helping me somehow. It's just, I put so much time into this. Having more subscribers is giving more power to this channel, which in the end, I'm hoping that it's giving more power to inline skating. Then, if you didn't like the video, you can give me some thumbs down. But if you like it, give me some thumbs up. It's the same again. It's going to give some more power to this channel. And, just like I always say, don't forget why we all started skating. Because it's fun. Cheers, guys, and see you soon.
Vou viver até quando